Hi, everybody, and welcome to this episode of the Digital Jampreneur. I'm Alicia Little, and I'm here with my sister, Lorette. Lorette, say hi to everybody.
Hi.
What we're doing is we've got a two-part session. So part one is going to be on prioritizing different things in your business, and part two is going to be on outsourcing. So today we're doing part one. Let's get right to it. So the topic is so important because as you're starting, building, growing, and scaling a business, you really have to, we're starting off with prioritizing. You really have to prioritize those things in your business that are the most important and identify what they are and create procedures for doing those repetitive tasks in your business, whether you're doing it yourself or you've got a team member doing it. Now, let's just flash back for a minute. I have been in this industry for 21 years. Lorette, how many years have you been in now?
Two less
18?
than you. So.
Right. So
yeah.
19.
19
years. And when I first started off in this business, I started off with my ex-husband, and the first product that we created. So what we did was we built a list by offering a newsletter, and all of these people were so excited to get the newsletter. We built up this newsletter and we let them know that a course was coming soon. When we released our course, we sold 299 copies in the first 24 hours. And what I was doing was in the basement, I had a CD duplicator machine, I had a laser printer machine, and I was doing everything myself. And I did it for months until my sister Lorette, who at the time was working for GE, General Electric, she came and saw my operation. And, at that time, some people would receive like 3 products in the mail. Some people would receive none, but then I would have to resend it. It was a mess. But that was because, at the time I was an environmentalist. So I was studying environmental science. I was in college. I had no idea about running a business and setting up systems. So my sister Lorette was like, you are a mess. She was Miss Corporate. She was working at General Electric, going through a program called Six Sigma, what does Six Sigma teach you again, Lorette? I always forget.
It's basically allowing you to automate and systemize processes and using data to help you make decisions.
Right, but that thing.
Yeah. But
so I was going to say, talk a little bit about what you saw and how you fixed it so that now we can lead people down the path of what they need to do in their business.
Yeah. Well, when I first came there, I was like, what is going on here? You were sitting on this gold mine, but just the way that it was being run, it could have been done a lot more efficiently, right? I remember, because I was staying at your house, the phone was ringing at like 2 a.m., 3 a.m., and you're picking it up and you're like, hello, how can I help you? I'm like, is that customer service calling you at 3 a.m? Like, why are you answering? I'm like, there are people that can answer phones for you. There's people that can package and ship things for you. There's other people that can do this so that you're not sitting on, doing customer service at 3 o'clock in the morning. That makes no sense. Like, let's make this more efficient so you can have other people do that. You focus on getting more sales, getting more customers, keeping the customers happy, doing the marketing, that kind of being the front of it instead of you're too smart. I mean, you've got too much that you can offer that you shouldn't be packaging products in your basement, right? And you shouldn't be answering the phone at 3 a.m, right?
How many of you feel like you're too smart or you've got too much to offer and that you're doing tasks in your business that you shouldn't be doing it? And probably part of it is because you haven't systematized, prioritized, or because that there has to be a better way. And now for those of you who are just starting or building a business now, you can say, you know what, there's a better way to do things. I need to know this from the start. So let's talk about prioritizing the things in your business that you should be doing and shouldn't be doing. Because Lorette, a lot of times people just think that everything that's to be done in their business, especially when starting out, that they should just do it all. And I know that you often teach people, you know what, learn how to do the different things just so that you know what task you're outsourcing. But when you're talking about prioritizing, how do you prioritize this goobly gop of things? Like when you use me as the example, this goobly gop of things that you have to do in your business.
Well, the first thing that you have to do is you have to understand what you're doing. Because a lot of times people don't realize how much time they're spending on things. Like you may say, oh, I just answered a few emails. But when you look at it and you break it down, you're like, wait a minute, you actually spent 3 hours doing emails. That's 3 hours that you could have been doing growing your business. There's tools out there that you can actually record your day, and you can say, okay, I'm answering emails, and you push it, and then it records how much long time you did doing emails, and you push stop. You're like, okay, now I'm doing this. And so you can visually see where you're spending your time. And you're like, oh my goodness, I spent 4 hours doing this. Did that help grow my business? Was that a money generating activity? If it wasn't, that's something that you can take off your list and then put something that's actually going to grow your business. That's how you can help prioritize. What are you doing on a daily business that's money generating, revenue generating, that's going to help you grow your business? And are you doing it? Or are you busy packaging things, right? So how can how do you do that? The first thing to do is to understand how you're spending your time and how you're spending your day. Once you're doing that, then you can see how to divvy it up and what to outsource and what to prioritize.
Okay, got that. So now that you've divvied it up, we often say that you should spend 80% of your time marketing your business, like 80% on marketing and sales and 20% on, making sure that the business is running, the customer service, the small tasks.
Because all of that is still important. You shouldn't stop it. It's just that you shouldn't be doing it because there's other people that want to do it, are willing, are begging to do it, right? There's a whole, and we're going to talk about that, but there's a whole bunch of people that would love to answer your emails for you, right? While you do something else.
So let's talk about task lists now. Now that we understand you need to look at where you're spending your time. And I do think it's called rescue time or something like that.
It is called rescue time. Yes.
Rescue time. So pay attention. Don't cheat yourself. Don't lie because you're only lying to yourself. And because I know that when Lorette first had me do it and I looked at it, I was like, oh, I don't want to share this with anybody. And so something else, Alex Mendocian, a good friend of ours, 1 year for Christmas, he sent me a kitchen timer and just a little note that said, this will help you with your day and with your time. So set the timer to work on specific tasks. So I set the timer 25 minutes email, and I would go and I would watch the timer. I would go and answer email. And when it was over, it was over. And then I would move on to the next thing. Like I would write it out on a piece of paper, 25 minutes here, 25 minutes. And I could actually schedule and see how my day is scheduled. And I know that a lot of top performing business owners schedule out their day by the minute. Like they block their time and schedule their time so they know where they're spending their time. Now, I think that's great. So hopefully you guys got some good tips. Yes. Give me a yes if you got some good tips from that. Yes, yes, yes.
And Alicia, another thing that I like to do with the prioritizing tasks is sometimes I'll write down some of the tasks that I have to do and I'll put dollar signs next to it. And I'll look at the ones that, hey, this one is the biggest, going to make the biggest impact in the business. This is the one that I need to focus on. And that helps me prioritize things as well.
I like that. So when we're talking about task list, so we're talking about making a to-do list. And I know that to-do lists work for a lot of people. So whether it's pen and paper or there's like apps and software and all sorts of things to create your to-do list. But let's talk about the fancy word for a to-do list, or after you've identified those stuff on your to-do list that you do repetitively, you create that item on your to-do list that's a task into what we call a standard operating procedure or an SOP. I like to say an SOP is a really fancy word for an instructional to-do list. But Lorette, what is an SOP? Why is it important? And even if you're just doing a task yourself, why is it important to outline that?
Yeah, it's very important because a lot of things are repetitive. It's a process. So for example, I have a digital agency right? So when somebody comes in as a new social media client, there's processes, there's steps that they go through. First, they fill out that, they pay for the service, they fill out the onboarding, they get added to our project management tool, they get at like there's steps that they have to do. Then we go to the designer, we do this, but it's the same each time. So now when a new client comes into our system, the social media manager and the designers, that they know exactly what to do. They know, and therefore it stays consistent. That's one of the reasons why franchises work so well. So the example I like to give is McDonald's. When somebody buys a McDonald's, it's a business in a box. They have all these, the French fries need to take this long. You go through the drive-through, it needs to take this long. Like there's procedures for everything that makes it easy, that you can't mess it up. Right? So that's the goal of standard operating procedures, is that it's a process that you follow, you do it, you repeat it, you know that it works. So you just keep doing it over and over. Think of it as like a McDonald's, like a franchise. You're not supposed to mess it up because it's the same thing every time. And the great thing about it too, is that as you hire new people into your business, because you're going to grow, right? You don't have to regurgitate everything over. You say, here's the procedures. When somebody comes in, these are the steps that you do. Of course, you're going to have an orientation or something like that, but they're all the steps outlined so they don't miss a beat.
I love that. I love that. And so a standard operating procedure, like I have one for LinkedIn, for example, and it just says that when I go onto LinkedIn, now I outsource this to somebody, but when I go onto LinkedIn, here's what I should do. Step 1, step 2, step 3. Because some days, if I was to do it myself, some days I would have a brain freeze and be like, what am I supposed to be doing on LinkedIn again? I mean, we've got so many things coming at us that it's so important to just really document what we're doing. So we're not talking about outsourcing even yet, although you need this in outsourcing. But as we're talking about our own business, we're like, okay, so we need a standard operating procedure even for ourselves. So what we need to do. Now, how often do you revisit that SOP and adjust it, Lorette, to make it better, to improve on it? What is the process or the standard for, going back and looking at it to make it better?
Well, that's a good idea, because a lot of times it will change and it will get better. So as things happen, voice of the customer is something that we hold is very important. So for example, in my onboarding form, some people are like, I don't understand, or I didn't get my welcome message or something like that. Then I'll be like, oh, well, that must be a hole. Like we don't have the proper procedure in place for that welcome message. Let me fix that, right? So then we fix that inside of the SOP to make sure that welcome message is getting sent out. So it's important to listen to your customers and use that to help adjust and make your SOPs better.
So it's not just always staying the same, but it's improving a business, which is so important. And I think so many of us entrepreneurs, because we have a lot of entrepreneurs on here and a lot of people here who are ready to be an entrepreneur. Like they're walking into that path. They're ready to make their first million. So it's important to understand your customers and adjust your procedures to scale your company based on what your customers want. Go ahead, Lorette.
And I just wanted to go back to the task list real quick. So when you're doing your task list, there's, like Alicia said, there's a variety of different things. There's apps on your phone, there's stuff on the computer, there's all different ways that you can do it. Find the way that's most comfortable for you. Don't force yourself into using this tool that you don't understand. Whatever's going to help you keep on target. Like for me personally, I have one on my phone that I use if I'm out and about and I think of something. Like I have one on my phone. It's just very simple. I think it's just to-do list is what it's called. Very easy to do. And then I love, Alicia laughs at me, but I have a notebook. I have a lot of notebooks. I'm a notebook person. And I like to just write it on a piece of paper every night before I go to bed. Before I lock up my computer and stuff, I write down what I need to do for the next day. Right. And I have it all in order. I'll be like, okay, webinar or whatever my topics are. Then I have all the tasks that I need to do. And the great thing about it is that I have it in my notebook and I can see once I do it, I check it off, right? I mark it off, mark it off. So now I can see everything that I accomplished for the day. I know what you're going to say.
I just want to add to this conversation because sometimes when I'm sitting next to Lorette, we're in two different places right now. She is on the beautiful island of Jamaica, walking distance to the beach. I am not jealous. I'm in Atlanta, Georgia right now. But one of the things that I know when I'm sitting next to her is what this girl does is she has her to-do list, marks off the items, and now she did something that's not on her list. She adds it to the list and marks it off. And she posted about this on Facebook, and so many other people do it because it's a sense of accomplishment you get when you complete a task.
So it helps me track what I got done. It gives me that sense of accomplishment. And then, now when I flip through it, I can see everything that I did. I'm like, yes, that was a successful day. Right. And then I go to the next page and I write my next list for the next day. It just helps me keep in track, helps me visually see what I'm doing, crossing it off for the sense of accomplishment. I can go back to see what I did. Now, that's what I prefer to do. That's been the most successful for me. Now, you need to find what's more comfortable for you. Maybe you like to have the online tools, or maybe you just like to do it on the app. So find what suits you best. But the key is to stick with it, right? Don't just do a task list one day and be done. And when you do your tasks, make sure that you make it so that it's realistic. I was working with somebody and they did a task list. It was like so long. I'm like, there's no way you can get through that task list. Like, that's unrealistic. Let's start over and do a realistic task list of the things that you need to get done. You may have a giant task, break it down into pieces, right? So it's a big task, break it down into pieces. And, then you can also think about how you're going to be delegating that as well. So make a realistic task list, be consistent with it, and cross them off, check them off, make sure that you get things done and keep moving and do it on a regular basis. It's going to help you stay on track.
I know we were traveling. I think we were in Malaysia, and I had a task list of like 28 things that I wanted to get done. And Lorette was like, no. Talk about the first three, like outline the first three things that you want to get done and leave the others on your list of things that you keep in view. KIV, she calls it, keep in view. But those three tasks, focus on the tasks that move your business forward, the things that you need to get done that are urgent and important. And then she said, let's look at the rest of them and see what we can outsource. And I know the remaining tasks, we outsource like 75% of it. So Lorette, my dear sister, with her amazing, you come to the internet marketing or the digital marketing and entrepreneurship field with this corporate experience in project management, information technology, Six Sigma. So you bring that into the internet marketing space for creatives. Like, I'm a creative. I'm not Excel.
I'm not a creative.
And you're not a creative. So you've helped me as a creative to understand how I need to, prioritize and organize and think differently if I want to expand my business. But when we go through that list, what Lorette does in the beginning of the day with her clients and as we're working in our coaching business is she tells them that the first hour of your day you call the outsourcing hour, and you look at everything you need to get done in your business and you outsource it. And we're going to talk about the tools in a minute that you can use to make this really effective, but you take those things and you give it to someone else to do. And all you're doing in that hour is you're checking on, right, your team or the people you outsource to that were given tasks to do and how they're doing. So that outsourcing hour, I love it sometimes when Lorette says, yeah, I just worked that hour a day in my business, my outsourcing hour, and another hour later on doing a live or whatever you're doing marketing wise. But because so many of your tasks and things that you need to do get outsourced, you are able to leverage other people's time to do the tasks that you need to do in your business so that you can focus on growing and expanding your business and those marketing tasks as well. So let's talk about tools. You ready for tools? Yes. We're going to keep this simple with free tools. My first tool that I love is the Google Suite.
Yeah, well, one thing that's great about the Google Suite is that it updates things in real time and you can share it with your team. So, I was thinking about this back in the day, like when you would have an Excel sheet, for example, you have to send it back and forth, email. You have
like version 1, version 1.2, version 2, version 3.
I have like 50 versions on my computer. Version 2.2.2.1. Yes, I know. But you don't have to do that anymore with the Google Suite. So you have one document, you share it with your team, you update it real time. It really is a game changer. So you definitely need to be using that with your team.
So instead of using, like, I don't use Microsoft Office at all. I haven't used it since Google came out with
use it. No.
And so I don't even, I mean, I think I have Word on my computer. Do we have Word? We have the same computer now, right? Laurette's like, I don't know. I have a Mac and a PC, but we use everything in Google Docs. So when we're using and Google Slides and everything, it makes team collaboration so much better. If you're unfamiliar with it, make sure that you just look up and learn about Google Docs, Google Sheets, Google Drive. All of our files are stored on Google Drive. Docs takes the place of Word. Slides takes the place of PowerPoint. Sheets takes the place of Excel. And it is an amazing collaboration tool. So we use all those Google tools. So even as we're prioritizing tasks, where we create a dashboard for, you know, our day, our week, our month, our year, we can share it with each other and collaborate in real time. The next tool that we love for especially creating, so when we create a standard operating procedure, we create it in a Google Doc with, you know, things outlined. And then, for example, for my LinkedIn standard operating procedure, it says every day, go to the notifications and do all the things that that LinkedIn says to do in that notification tab. So what I do is I click on that, and then you know, I look at that and then I click on a link that opens up a video that has the step-by-step instructions. So now I have passed this on. I've got a guy on my team who does all my LinkedIn work, and all he had to do was watch that video and say, you know, he read the instructions. But how much easier is it to watch a video? How many of you guys like video? Say me in the comments, because I love video. So watching video instructions makes life so much easier. Laurette, talk a little bit about the tool that we use like every single day and that we use for creating video instructions.
Yeah, the tool, it's called Loom, Loom, and it's free. So it's a great tool, like Alicia said, to add video, and it helps you explain things. Because a lot of times things are lost in translation. When you're trying to send an email, people don't understand what you're talking about, or maybe there needs to be an extensive amount of explaining that you need to do. So you can do the video. People can go back, rewind it, listen to it again. But I use Loom on a daily basis for my team to help communicate with my team. Also with their clients. You know, that's something that if you've got clients and you want to communicate something to them, do a Loom video. That's something that they're not used to. They don't get a lot. And so it's going to impress them, first of all, and it's going to help you get your point across. So Loom is a great free tool to do quick, easy, short little videos.
And it's loom.com. And when she's saying short videos, if you go over 5 minutes in a video, you have to pay for Loom Pro. We both have Loom Pro. I think it's like $12 a month, something like that, something very small.
Not expensive.
Yeah, not expensive, and we love it. A tool that we cannot live without. Also Zoom. So using Zoom for having, you know, meetings and discussions is really good. And you can also use Zoom for recording, but we really use Loom. So if you have Google Docs completely free, Loom, the free version, you are good to go when it comes to really being able to prioritize and outline your day and do all of that great stuff.
The key is to step back, take a moment, and look at what you're doing, right? You have to understand how you're spending your day, where your time is going, and understanding the tasks that you need to accomplish your goals. Unless you slow down and see and understand where your business is right now and where you want to be, you have to do that in order to move forward. So take a moment to yourself and really think about your business, write it down, see where you want to go, and understand what you need to do in order to get there.
We have a masterclass coming up. It's called Outsourcing Made Easy. And this is like part 2 because Laurette had the first course in 2005 called Outsourcing Made Easy. But what we're going to do is we're going to spend an hour with you. Actually, I think it's a 2-hour masterclass. So,
right.
Yeah. It's a 2-hour masterclass called Outsourcing Made Easy. And this is where we're going to teach you how to prioritize a task in your business, how to outsource them. We're going to dig into how to use Fiverr. And also there are 2 other places that we hire people that we haven't gotten into yet because we want to show you the screen and actually walk through using these resources So we want to do this with you in the Outsourcing Made Easy Masterclass. So we're inviting you to join. You will see a link somewhere around here in the comments box for you to join that masterclass. Now, I'm excited about the masterclass because I know what outsourcing has allowed me to do in my business. I know what leveraging other people's time and resources and skills has allowed me to do in my business, and Lorette and the businesses that we have together. Thank you so much. We look forward to seeing you in the masterclass. Who's going to be there? Say I'm in if you're going to be there. If you're like, I'm in, I'm going to be in that masterclass, because you need to be there. You guys need to be there. You need to sign up for it. Find the link to sign up for the masterclass. Lorette, I want to say I'm in, and I'm teaching the class. I'm like, I'm in. So I'm in. And in the masterclass, we'll show you everything, share our screen. You'll actually be signing up for the accounts that the same place we're using to outsource. We'll walk you through everything. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be an amazing opportunity for you. And we look forward to helping you grow, expand, and multiply your business. Now, to get other tips, to watch other episodes, to learn how to start your own online business, I want you to head over to our website, internetincomejamaica.com, and click on courses. Check out the courses that we offer, or click on the Digital Jampreneur, and you can check out other episodes just like this. Our blog also has other articles and tips that you might find useful. Thank you so much. Thanks, everybody. Bye.